All right, let's talk about strategy. But I want you to forget for a moment everything you think you know about it. Today, we are going to dive deep into the work of Roger Martin, one of the world's absolute top management thinkers, and we're going to challenge all those old assumptions. So get ready, because this might just change the way you think about your work.
Okay, let's just start with this bombshell of a quote. Most plans simply are not worth the paper they are printed on. I mean, wow! That hits home, right? We've all been there, stuck in those endless planning cycles, the budgets, the forecasts, the 5-year plans that are obsolete in 5 months. Martin's point is that most of it's just a colossal waste of time.
And that, of course, raises the billion-dollar question, doesn't it? If those perfectly crafted, detailed plans aren't actually strategy, then what the heck is? We need a better model. So today, that's what we're going to do. We're going to deconstruct the myths and find a much more powerful way to think about how you actually win in business.
So let's jump right into the first and biggest myth of all. This is the one that causes so much confusion and, frankly, dysfunction in most companies. The idea that planning and strategy are the same thing. I'm just going to give you a spoiler alert right now. They are not even close.
And what's really fascinating is where this insight came from. It wasn't some fancy Fortune 500 company. Nope. For Martin, it all started with his dad's business, an animal feed company. And his dad ran the whole operation on one simple, incredibly powerful principle. You never, ever, ever negotiate on price. Period. And this one rule just brilliantly shows the difference. Every Monday morning, his dad would issue a price list. That was it. Take it or leave it. So what did that do? It forced every single sales conversation to be about the things they wanted to compete on: quality, service, support, real value. That set of choices, that was the strategy. It was a whole integrated system designed to win by forcing their competitors to play on their turf.
So here is the absolute crucial difference. Planning? Well, planning feels safe, right? It feels comfortable because it's all about your inputs, the things you can actually control, like your budget or your hiring targets. Strategy, on the other hand, is scary. It's about outputs, the things you can't control, like how do you actually convince a customer to choose your product instead of the other guys? So think of it this way. A plan is a to-do list. A strategy is an integrated set of choices about how you're going to win.
Now this idea, that strategy is all about making these integrated choices. It leads us right to the next big myth we have to bust. And you have heard this one a million times. It's that old belief that a few brilliant people at the top create the strategy and then just hand it down for everyone else to simply execute. This quote from Martin just nails the problem with that model. It's demeaning. It basically assumes that the people who are actually doing the work, the ones closest to the customer, have no meaningful choices to make, that their only job is to follow orders like some kind of robot.
A much better model, a healthier one, is what you see at a company like Procter & Gamble. It's not one big strategy, then execution. It's what Martin calls a cascade of choices. So the CEO makes the big, broad choices, like what industries P&G should even be in. Then the head of the beauty division makes choices inside of that context, how to win in beauty. And then the Pantene brand manager makes even more specific choices about how Pantene is going to win against other shampoos on the shelf.
You see, the key takeaway here is that execution is just the wrong word. It's totally misleading. Because everyone, at every single level, is a strategist. They are all making strategic choices. They're just making them within the context and the constraints that were set by the level above them. Your job isn't to just execute someone else's idea, it's to make your own great strategic choices.
All right, this brings us to our third and final myth. And honestly, this one might be the most challenging, because it goes right after our modern obsession with being data-driven. We're all taught that every single decision has to be backed up by rigorous analysis. But there is a fundamental, and I mean fundamental flaw hiding in that logic.
And here's the flaw. It's so simple, but it is so profound. 100% of all the data you can possibly analyze, it only tells you about what has already happened. Think about it. There's literally zero data about the future.
And here is the trap. A core rule of statistics is that your data sample has to be representative of the universe you're making a conclusion about. But if you're making a choice about the future, your data from the past is, by definition, not representative. So using past data to try and prove what will happen in the future isn't just a bad idea, it is a dangerous analytical error.
And what's amazing is that this is not some new problem. Aristotle figured this out 2,500 years ago.
He explained that there are basically two parts of the world. First, there's the world where things cannot be other than they are. Think gravity. If I drop my pen, it will fall, every single time. In that world, past data is a perfect predictor. But then there's the second part of the world, where things can be other than they are, and that is the world of business. And in this world, Aristotle argued, you have to use an entirely different kind of logic.
So, after we've busted all these myths about planning, about execution, about data, what are we left with? What is the true job of a strategist if it's not just to plan and analyze? Well, it's something far more creative and far more human.
This is it. This is Roger Martin's powerful alternative. Strategy isn't about proving a single right answer with data from the past. It's about imagining multiple possible futures that you could create and then choosing to pursue the one for which you can build the most compelling logical case. It is an act of design and persuasion, not just analysis.
So ultimately, strategy isn't some document you write or a forecast you build. It's a courageous act. It's the act of making choices to create a future that doesn't exist yet. It's not about predicting what will happen, it's about making it happen. So the only real question left for you is, what future will you choose to build?